Hey guys, Austin here with the post-game debrief of the Oilers' 6-3 loss to the Calgary Flames. And let's just totally ignore that I made a video earlier today saying that Edmonton didn't need a goalie. Just pretend that I didn't upload that. Don't even go looking for it. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist, okay? First period, both teams in their Heritage Classic sweaters. This is the second final match of the season between these two teams. The Oilers were 7-3 in their last 10 heading into the night against the Flames. Vladar starts for the Flames, Skinner net for Edmonton. This is Skinner's 40th start of the season in game 55. Get this guy some help for the love of God. Kadri makes a 1-0 early. Bouchard turnover, and then McDavid didn't cover in time. Kadri with a nice tip in the high slot over Skinner's glove, 1-0. And then Skinner made a big save on Uyghur. Turnovers were an issue very early in the first period for Edmonton. And then Pospisil, sorry about that, makes it 2-0 for the Flames on Skinner's glove side. Oilers were getting beat all over the ice. And then Dewar hits the post for Calgary. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. Flames get a power play, Hyman penalty, but they killed it. Hanifin then makes it 3-0 not long after the power play. Janmark drew power play with 2:18 to play. Hyman scores after Draisaitl collided with Vladar. Draisaitl and Vladar were both looking for calls, but Draisaitl kind of got shoved into Vladar, and then Draisaitl also kind of pushed himself into Vladar as well with the momentum. Hyman scored just a few seconds later. That was his 36th goal of the season to make it 3-1. Power play was 1-for-1 at that point. McDavid continues racking up the assists as he got an assist on Hyman's goal. Tempers started to boil over after every whistle near the end of the period, and then McDavid and Anderson got 2 each for roughing at the end of the period. End of one, the score was 3-1 Flames. The shots were 13-8 for Calgary, but the expected goals were 1-1. So goaltending would have been very nice. I wrote that the game could get very ugly, and oh boy, it sure did get ugly. Now, I thought it was going to get ugly in terms of fights and rough stuff, but it ended up kind of being a bit of both on the scoreboard and with the rough stuff. So, second period, 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 47 seconds to start. Shout out to the Sportsnet app for being absolute dog crap. I wrote that down because I'm trying to watch the game on the Sportsnet app. I am subscribed to Sportsnet, and the app just kept freezing every 3 seconds, and it just pissed me off. Anyway, shout out to Sportsnet. Great app you have. Flames, too many men. There was no call on it, and then Draisaitl was possibly injured, but he ended up being fine. Good fourth line shift. Hyman then scores on a breakaway to make it 3-2. That is his 37th of the season, a new career high for Zach Hyman. Who was that? Was it Editor and Leaf said worst contract in NHL history? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Leave Editor and Leaf alone. Come on, guys. Draisaitl was loaded up on the top line. Skinner makes a crazy save. He was like not even kind of looking where the play was, and he made a nice shoulder save. Crowd was really into it, and then we got 4-on-4 for another 2 minutes. Janmark tried to challenge Blake Coleman to a fight, but Coleman didn't want it. Must have been at the end of his shift. They both get 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike. Cece was high-sticked with no call, and then as Janmark and Coleman jump out of the penalty box, they end up fighting, and Janmark and Coleman just threw them. Janmark got kind of the worst of it in terms of the cuts on his face, but Janmark, he came out and he got about 7, 8, 9 really good punches. That was a really good fight for Janmark. Kane had a good look that was stopped by Vladar not long after that. Then Hunt scores for Calgary after Nurse's stick breaks. The Oilers could not clear the zone, so that made a 4-2 Calgary. And then Draisaitl takes a penalty for hooking. He got away with about 3 penalties before he got the crazy hook. And the hook that he did, that would have been called during the clutch and grab era. Like, I don't know what Draisaitl was thinking on that one. Calgary gets a power play. They end up scoring on it. It was Hanifin, so it was 5-2 Flames now. I wrote that Draisaitl should be benched for a few shifts. He wasn't. That's fine. That was my opinion. That's just what I wrote down because I was angry. I wasn't sure what Nurse was doing on the penalty kill, and Skinner just had no idea where the puck was. No lateral movement at all. Skinner was kind of just standing in the crease. They must have been having a pretty good conversation together. Kane was put with McDavid. Holloway drew a penalty or a power play for Edmonton, but the power play does not convert. Frustrations were almost boiling over. Ekholm boarded Huberdeau, who then cross-checked Ekholm. Perry then tried to fight Uyghur. Flames power play when all was said and done. And then Derek Ryan drew a penalty on the penalty kill. 4-on-4 to start the third period. After 2, it was 5-2 Flames. Shots were 23-21 in favor of Calgary, and the expected goals were 3-2.30 in favor of the Flames. Third period now, 4-on-4 for about a minute to start the third. Kane might be the worst passer I've ever seen. He could have hit McLeod in flight, and he put the puck like a foot past McLeod's stick. It wasn't even a hard pass. Didn't even have any pressure. Oilers don't score on the abbreviated power play. They finished the night 1 for 3. Calgary finishes 1 for 4, so Edmonton's penalty kill was fine, 75%. Coleman gets stopped on a breakaway by Skinner, and then McDavid and Draisaitl were loaded up once again. McDavid passed up a shot in the opportunity near the slot. He has 0 goals in his last 9 games. Halfway through the third, there wasn't a whole lot happening on offense for Edmonton. The Oilers then pull the goalie with 7:35 remaining. Coleman scores almost immediately after the net was pulled to make it 6-2 for Calgary. Janmark then makes it 6-3 with 3:44 to play. That is his 3rd goal in his last 4 games for Matthias Janmark, who has been all over the score sheet, fighting, scoring. I love it. I've been really hard on Matthias Janmark this season, but his recent play, I'm big fan of Janmark. Holloway and Coleman then go at it, both with misconducts. And then Kane, near the end of the game, decides to cross-check Kadri after Kadri didn't want to fight Darnell Nurse. Great job of Evander Kane. End of the third period, 6-3 Flames. Shots were 35-31 in favor of the Oilers, and the expected goals were 4.4 to 3.95 in favor of Calgary. Now, my Oilers 3 stars. Oh boy, there weren't exactly a whole lot of great Oilers tonight, but I gave 3rd star to Dylan Holloway, 2nd star to Zach Hyman, and 1st star to Matthias Janmark. I thought Janmark's fight was going to spark a big comeback for Edmonton, but unfortunately, the discipline and the defensive structure just didn't allow for it. Takeaways from the game. Another slow start for Edmonton. They just cannot seem to start a game on time. Poor goaltending. As I mentioned earlier, I made a video earlier today being like, we don't need a goalie. And then Skinner gives up 5 goals on however many shots it was. Very unfortunate that happened. Yikes. And then the line shuffling is another takeaway. Chris Knobloch, he's basically turning into Jay Woodcroft and Dave Tippett with the line shuffling. Every single game, it's a new lineup. Every single period, it's new line combinations. And he just goes right back to McDavid and Draisaitl loaded on the top line when the team gets down. So, this team is still basically Woodcroft's team. I'm wondering if the 16-game win streak kind of masked some issues that were going on with the roster. There's a lot to talk about in the day after video that I'll be putting out tomorrow. I will be breaking down the Minnesota game and the Flames game a little bit more tomorrow because of the back-to-back. I didn't get a day after video out for the Minnesota game, so I'm going to kind of condense things and have a full breakdown of the last 2 games in tomorrow's day after video. If you guys are kind of new to the channel and you want to be part of the future of the channel, I guess, and you like these types of videos, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the day after. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on with this team. Do I think that they're as bad as they've been since the All-Star break and the amount of goals that they give up? No. Do I think they were as good as the 16-game win streak showed that they were? I don't really think so either. I think this team is kind of somewhere in the middle. I think they're a playoff team, but at the moment, the way they play, especially structurally, I don't know how much of a contending status we can give the Oilers. They need some help. Ken Holland's got to get on the phones. He's got to get some help before the trade deadline, not on trade deadline day. Need some help before the trade deadline. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts about the game in the comments section below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.